here's Audacity. Audacity is basically a program that turns your computer into a recorder. Unlike a tape recorder, like a cassette deck, the advantage of recording with a computer is that you can manipulate things very easily. If you want to go from the beginning of the song to the end of the song, you don't have to run through tape there. It's what they call nonlinear. You have your time goes from left to right, and it just allows you to do a lot of things. We can overdub, we can put something, record something as far as an ensemble goes, and then we can go back and play that ensemble recording, put them through the speakers like the cube, and then the kids can sing along to that, and you then can take those two recordings, mix them together, and create just a really nice ensemble sound with keyboards, vocals. You could add tambourines. You could add anything that creativity demands of it. And the kids can get really involved in this when they see how easy it is to add things on top of each other. First of all, we're just going to go and take a look at the software just a little bit to show how we interface in this program. If we look up at the top, we'll see what looks very similar to Microsoft Word or Excel or any of these other programs. You have File, Edit, and View. Those we see on just about every program we ever see, and they do basically the same thing that happens in a word processor. We also have some buttons that should be recognizable to anyone who's ever had a VCR or a DVD player, and that are these buttons here. These are the universal signs. That means if you were to show this to a Japanese person, they would know it too. You have these parallel bars here. That stands for pause. You have this triangle that points this direction. That means play. The square represents stop. We have two buttons that you don't see on a cassette deck. It's a double triangle with a line and a double triangle with a line facing the other direction. This gets us from the beginning of the song with a single push, or to the end of the song with a single push. This round button that's supposed to look red but looks kind of faded is the record button. You press that and it allows us to record. If we go a little bit farther, we have two sets of little icon devices here with an L and an R. L in a software that's meant for audio always stands for left. R always stands for right, and that represents the left and the right speaker. Here we have a little icon that kind of looks like a speaker. That means that's the output volume. So when these things are jumping around, and we'll see that in a little bit, that shows the volume going out. Here we have a microphone. This shows the volume going in. And when we start to record, I'll show you what these do. These are kind of like the level meters. All right? Now, before we start, we have to make sure we've got everything basically configured for what we want to do. Configured just means we have to get it set up right. Okay? So we're going to go over to Edit. And if you look down, all the way down to the very bottom, there's a single command called Preferences. Okay? We're going to go down to Preferences. This gives us a little screen that allows us to set this up in the way we want to use it. The very first tab is Audio I/O, which stands for audio in and out. What we're going to do is we're going to tell this program where the sound's going to be coming from and where it's going to be going to. Okay? You'll notice right below here it says Playback, Device, Recording Device, and Channels. All right? This is what we're going to use to configure our program to where the sound is coming from and where it's going to go to. Okay? I used this device. This is the USB device, and as soon as I plugged that in and turned this on, this computer saw it, and it said, there it is. Now, if I click this down, you'll see the Microsoft Sound Mapper, and you usually have another one at the very bottom, or if you don't have your USB device, there may be another one that will be the name of the actual sound card in your computer. The sound card in my computer is Sigmatel Audio, And if I were just plugging straight from my mixer into the computer, that's what I would pick. But because I'm using the USB, I'm going to pick the USB. That means that everything that's coming from my USB device is now going to play back out of that device. For recording, do exactly the same thing. Here we have our flap, and it says Sound Mapper. Sometimes, some people, or some of the computers, Sound Mapper may actually be the choice for your sound card. For me, I could use the sound card, which is my Sigma-Tel Audio. It may say Sound Blaster. It may say, whatever company made the actual sound card. And again, for me, because I'm using the USB, I'm going to pick that. Okay? Now, all these devices that we're dealing with are stereo devices. That means you've got a left channel and a right channel, or in the recording industry, we call it channel 1 and channel 2. This software, if you had the right device to connect to the computer, you could actually record up to 16 things at a time. We can't do that because those devices are much more expensive than the devices that we're using here. But all that being said, what we want to do is we want to set this up as a stereo most of the time. And this will allow us to be able to record the left and the right at the same time.